Hello there. Thank you so much for joining us. This is News Channel Nebraska. My name's Eric McKay. Let's take a look at our top headlines today. A building in Norfolk completely collapsed yesterday. This happened about 1 p.m. near 7th Street and Norfolk Avenue. The building was set to be the new iHub for Northeast Community College. But after one of the walls caved in, the rest of the building came along with it. A few cars were damaged when the building fell. News Channel Nebraska spoke to some of the witnesses at the scene who had some close calls.
And I told him, get over down the lane, the building's coming down. And he was back, he was trying to get over because there was a guy there too, parked. And so we got over and it came down on our car.
Were you in the car when it came down?
Yeah.
Did it come down on your car when you were in it?
Yeah, we were right over there, yes.
I'm not really paying attention. I see the building kind of start moving, start really coming down. I was able to finally, or just barely back up enough so it didn't do too much damage to my car, but incredible. I saw my life flash before me.
No word yet on the cause of the collapse. Miraculously, Norfolk police tell us no one was injured. The saga surrounding a now demolished viaduct in Hastings is in the hands of the Nebraska Supreme Court. The court heard oral arguments in the case last week. It relates to a series of petitions that attempted to prevent the destruction of a nearly 90-year-old viaduct. The city demolished it in April of 2022, but a trio of citizens have continued to fight the legality of the move. The citizens appealed the district court's decision that ruled the issue moot because the viaduct no longer exists and that the latest petition was too vague. The attorney representing the citizens said they still want to put the issue to a public vote.
We now pivot to whether or not there is a suit for damages or taxpayer standing type lawsuit if the election is ordered and if it is successful.
The justices pressed Hastings City Attorney Jesse Oswald about the city's decision to tear down the viaduct 2 years ago.
Should this court have some concern about the city essentially taking actions to moot this controversy where citizens are trying to initiate a referendum?
I believe they had that ability through their injunctive action to stop that. And it's my understanding that they could have appealed that decision, and they did not appeal that decision.
The court will now consider the case and author its opinion. It's not clear when the court will release their verdict. A motorcyclist was lodged in Lancaster County Jail and faces multiple charges after authorities say he fled from officers and crashed at the Waverly High School parking lot. The Nebraska State Patrol says 31-year-old Jarrett Bruckner of Lincoln was spotted speeding on Cornhusker Highway. Police tried to stop him, but he led them on a chase toward Waverly before authorities stopped it due to safety concerns. Another trooper eventually found Bruckner after he'd crashed in the Waverly High School parking lot. He was treated at a nearby hospital, then lodged in Lancaster County Jail, facing multiple charges, including flight to avoid arrest. 5 candidates are seeking to become the new mayor of Hastings. Ryan Valenta profiles the final hopeful candidate.
Jay Beckby is a businessman who owns 4 businesses in Hastings and its surrounding areas. He is seeking to become the next Hastings mayor. Beckby says he never grew up thinking he would run for mayor, but people reached out to him asking him to consider running. With his decades of business experience, Beckby thinks he can use some of that to help promote growth and get the ball rolling again in Hastings.
I saw a lot of fundamental issues, not only in the past couple administrations, but going back 40 years. I mean, we've always, the city of Hastings has always pretty much complained about the same thing, and that's, not growing.
We asked Beckby what the biggest issue is in Hastings that he would address if elected. He believes that there's a disconnect in the city government and that city officials need to come together and finish plans that they've already started.
And I think that's the biggest thing that we've probably fallen down on is the last one is execute. We've got a lot of plans out there. We've made a lot of decisions to move forward, but I just don't see much execution. And that all plays a part.
With primary elections around the corner on Tuesday, we have now profiled all 5 Hastings mayor candidates. Find their full profiles on our website under the Central Region tab.
Millions of Americans headed to the polls on Tuesday for primary elections. And for the first time, Nebraskans have to show a valid form of photo ID when casting their ballot. If you forget your ID at a polling location, you're allowed to leave and get one. But if you don't have one at all on Tuesday, you can fill out a provisional ballot. County election commissioners say that could cause some results, especially in close cases, to be delayed.
But what is new this year is that the people that did not show a photo ID at the polling locations, they do have that 7-day period to come in and satisfy that requirement. So we do have to wait until all of those are satisfied before we can tabulate any of those votes.
If you haven't registered to vote yet, that deadline in Nebraska passed last week. Anyone who has any questions about where they're registered to vote or the new process in general can contact their local election commission office. Graduation is an exciting time for seniors as they take their next steps in their lives, potentially going on to college. But in order to do that, the FAFSA form has to be filled out. The new form released this year has seniors dealing with headaches. Luke Stera has more.
Students across the country are preparing for graduation, but glitches and delays in financial aid have some seniors wondering where they're even going to college. Counselors say students were not able to fill out the FAFSA until December 2023 rather than its usual date in October. And now many face delays in processing their applications and report they haven't received their federal student aid numbers.
I know I talked to a couple students today, and they said that because they didn't have that number, it made housing difficult because they couldn't choose their college as soon.
It's a problem around the country and in Nebraska. Just over 35% in the class of 2024 have completed a FAFSA nationally. And it's similar for Norfolk Public Schools.
We've got some students that are still waiting on whether or not they're going to get any grants or loans. So they're a little bit uneasy about going to college.
And as students wait for their financial aid to go through, many colleges like Wayne State are also experiencing some delays.
With all the new things, we're still running into new things all the time, unexpected things.
Reisinger says Wayne State is trying to be as flexible with its students. And officials with Northeast Community College say applicants' numbers have not gone down, but a concern is the under 40% of applicants who have submitted their FAFSA. And as officials and students both navigate the new land of the form, college officials and counselors say communication is key moving forward. Reporting for News Channel Nebraska, this is Luke Stera.
Some university graduations that had been scheduled for today or the next few days aren't happening. Several schools that have seen pro-Palestinian demonstrations are canceling or modifying their ceremonies, citing safety concerns. Amy Kiley has more.
I'm grateful to have the degree, but of course it would have been nice to have that celebration.
Today is when the University of Southern California main commencement ceremony was supposed to take place, but it's one of a handful of schools canceling or modifying graduation plans. The institutions say they're worried about safety in light of recent events at pro-Palestinian demonstrations on campus. A celebration at LA's Memorial Coliseum last night is USC's idea for a graduation replacement.
My parents flew in all the way from Peru.
Cal Poly Humboldt says its campus remains closed through Sunday. It's holding commencement ceremonies at 3 off-site locations tomorrow. Some faculty there say they want the president to step down, largely over his handling of recent protests.
Everything that occurred afterward is outfall from that poor decision, has led all of us to a real deep concern and lack of faith in leadership.
Emory University in Atlanta says it'll hold its ceremony off campus Monday. The school says it made the decision with input from Emory police and security advisors. And where the movement began, Columbia University says its main ceremony that had been scheduled for Wednesday is canceled. I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
Nebraska's Attorney General has announced an 8-figure settlement with wireless carriers over misleading advertising. The The $10.5 million reward comes after a multi-state investigation revealed deceptive and misleading advertising practices, particularly regarding false claims of unlimited data, free phone offers, and monetary incentives to switch wireless providers. Nebraska is only getting about $88,000 in total to cover attorney fees, but Attorney General Mike Hilgers says the settlement offers multiple protections for Nebraska consumers going forward. Now it's officially the end of an era. The public can no longer go inside the former Conestoga Mall. The south side of the mall had been open with a handful of shops still operating until they moved to the new section on the northeast side. Now red caution tape blocks the south side entrance of the former mall, which originally opened back in 1974. The mall's being replaced with Conestoga Marketplace, which is now up and running with multiple stores now open for business.
It's been great. So our first day was awesome. Way more business than what we expected it to be, and so we're still working through the transition even today and this weekend. But we're excited for it, and I know a lot of my guests are super pumped about the new location, and just this beautiful space that we have has been awesome for us.
It was March of last year when Woodsonia closed the deal to buy the Conestoga Mall with plans to develop and make the stores outward facing, as well as improving the eating and entertaining options on the grounds. The marketplace adding a Target as an anchor store that's expected to open in 2026. Parts of the U.S. could see the northern lights tonight. A severe solar storm could trigger colorful auroras as far south as Alabama. The Space Weather Prediction Center says at least 5 coronal mass ejections have been directed toward Earth. These explosions of plasma and magnetic fields from the sun's corona create the storm, and if they're strong enough, it could impact infrastructure, potentially disrupting communications, the electric power grid, navigation, radio, and satellite operations. The Fairbury Salad Festival not only provides salad, obviously, but it also donates to those in need. The event, a fundraiser for the JCH&L Auxiliary, it's been in the community since the 1960s. Those in attendance donated $9 in advance or $10 at the door and got a buffet. The funds go to help scholarships for students entering the medical field. It also provides Christmas gifts for residents of the Gardenside Long-Term Care at JCH&L. Last year's event raised over $2,000. And you can stay up to date with the very latest by following us online. Head to newschannelnebraska.com, click on the news tab there. You can also follow us on X. Like us on Facebook and Instagram as well. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great day. You're watching News Channel Nebraska.